Did you know that by the end of next year, Dell plans on reducing the amount of jobs in America? After speaking with James Harris, Systems Administration Manager 2 with Dell Services, I found out that Dell has started a massive layoff process and plans to outsource roughly 80% of current jobs at the Plano campus. With Dell going private last year, the company has started making some big changes. If they plan to stay a front-runner in the technology market, they need to be careful and not lose focus on their customers and employees. After Dell announced their privatization, the company started to lay off a large amount of employees and outsource more responsibilities and are leaving a gap in the United States IT jobs. If Dell wishes to maintain a good environment for their customers and employees, they are going to need to stay focused. In order to solve these problems, the company needs to increase training, team building, and listen to what their customers want. The problem Dell Incorporated faces is maintaining proper customer service, employee morale, and the possibility of jeopardizing the United States IT services. According to Kirk Landendorf, even industry analysts who are optimistic about Dell's future have to acknowledge that the company's long-term outcome is uncertain. Company layoffs started as a way to help cut costs. In an article in the Austin American-Statesman, it was said that the buyouts were offered to an undisclosed portion of the company's 110,000 employees, and about 14,000 of whom work in the Austin area. To learn more about this, I spoke with James Harris, who I mentioned earlier, and a former employee of Dell, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher said, "I was let go about 6 months ago because I was the last one hired. The reason I was given by my manager was that Dell was trying to cut costs. I think if Dell keeps this up, they will end up ruining what the company has always been about, the customer. If that doesn't scare employees, I don't know what does." Within weeks of the buyout, Dell started offering severance packages to those who were willing to voluntarily leave the company. This was the starting point for the company to start outsourcing more work, according to Mr. Harris. Company layoffs were also being done in order to outsource more jobs, which brings me to my next point. Dell has gradually started outsourcing some of their responsibilities to India, which has allowed them to cut costs since they do not have to pay India employees even half of the U.S. salary for the same job. In the article, How Hewlett-Packard and Dell Destroyed Their PC Advantage Piece by Piece, it was said that this means that as additional activities are outsourced, the supply chain turns from a single integrated process performed within the boundaries of traditional corporations to a fragmented and disintegrated process, a collection of separate and disjointed activities performed across several independent subcontractors. Also, with more jobs being outsourced to places like India and China, there are now very few entry-level jobs for people in America wanting to get into the IT field. To summarize, the challenges that Dell faces in the future are caused by company layoffs, outsourcing jobs, and leaving a gap in technology fields. You're probably wondering how these problems can be solved, right? Well, I'm here to give you some solutions. The solutions to this are pretty self-explanatory. The first thing that needs to be done is for Dell to stay focused on quality customer service. They need to talk with their customers and find out what they want. This can be done through surveys, phone calls, personal visits, and much more. Another thing is that while I think outsourcing is a great way to reduce costs, I also think that it causes problems. If Dell were to keep at least 40% of their lower-level support jobs in the U.S., it would help boost employee morale and keep the IT job market in the U.S. stable. To follow on that, intensive training for those in other countries would be beneficial so that the quality of service stays the same. Team building is another way to solve these problems, probably the easiest one to implement. Sometimes the best way to keep employees on the same page and to maintain their passion, team building is the way to go. This can be done through meetings, events, etc. Overall, the best solution for Dell is to speak with their clients and get feedback on what they want to see, increase training for outsourced jobs, and use team building with current employees. Basically, if Dell wants to survive in the technology market, they need to take care of their customers and make sure people are properly trained. I'm sure you're wondering if these solutions are even possible. I believe they are, as long as Dell is willing to put in some hard work. Dell faces some major problems in the coming years because of its privatization. Outsourcing is causing U.S. IT jobs to fall, which is leaving the technology market in a bad place. It is also reducing the high-quality customer service. If customer service isn't a priority, the company will lose its superiority. The company is currently one of the top IT companies, and if they want to stay that way, they will need to start building strong teams. They need to spend more time training workers in other countries, listen to their customers' feedback, and stay focused on customer service. If Dell makes the changes I spoke about earlier, I believe that their customer service ratings will increase and that their profits will also rise. I mean, happy customers means more businesses, right? Thank you.